Here we go. All right. So when you're ready, find yourself comfortably on your mat, maybe propped with a pillow or something underneath your sit bones, and just take a moment to arrive and to land here. Your hands can rest on your knees, your eyes can close. Just pay attention to your breath. Try to lengthen your inhale, lengthen your exhale. And drop whatever it took to get you here today, or whatever you have waiting for you for the weekend. Good. From here, let's go ahead and bring one hand to the belly and one hand to the chest. And on an inhale, expand your belly into your hand, then your chest, and your ribs. And then exhale, chest, ribs, belly. Good, inhale again, belly, ribs, chest. And exhale, chest, ribs, belly. Continue breathing on your own. And just notice if you can feel into your hands with your breath and expand as you inhale, and maybe close in as you exhale. Good, one more deep breath in, and exhale through your mouth. Great. Let's go ahead and release our hands down by either side of the hips. And I'd like to actually spend a little time getting into the neck. So bring your left hand to your right hip, and join your right hand to your left hand. And then gently bring your right ear down to your right shoulder. Just getting a nice stretch into the neck. And then gently draw some circles with your nose, little circles. Going in maybe a clockwise direction or a counterclockwise, whichever direction came naturally to you, and then reverse it into the other direction. Good, bring your head back through center and switch hands. So bring your right hand to your left hip, left hand to meet your right hand, and dip your shoulder or your ear down to your left shoulder. Good, pause here for a moment, and then draw some little circles with your nose, going in one direction, and then reversing into the other direction. Great, coming back through center, go ahead and release your hands down by your sides, and inhale your arms overhead. Hands down through heart center. And take a moment here to set an intention for your practice. Whether that be some self-love, compassion, whatever that might be, just take a moment to honor that. Good, on an inhale, bring your arms overhead, palms face one another, and on an exhale, bring your right hand down to the mat and do a nice side bend over to the right side. Getting a nice stretch on the left side of your body. Maybe doing a couple little pulses here. Good, and coming back up through center. Switch sides, left hand down to the mat. Right hand reaches up and over to the left side. Good, giving yourself a couple of pulses here. Great, coming back through center, and one more time, over to the right. Maybe you go a little further. And then back through center and over to the left. center. So sitting up nice and tall, having a really long spine. Look over your right shoulder and bring your left hand to your right knee. Getting a nice little twist. Seeing if we can open the thoracic spine a little bit, the upper back. Good, one more breath here. And on your exhale, release back through center and switching sides. Looking over your left shoulder. Right hand to right knee, left knee. Getting that nice thoracic spine opener. Good, and coming back through center. Looking over your right shoulder one more time. Left hand to right knee. Good, back through center and looking over your left shoulder. Great, back through center. Good, on an inhale, bring your arms overhead. And then on an exhale, gently walk your hands forward, getting a nice gentle hip opener. And relax your head down. Shake it yes, shake it no. Good, one more breath here. Gently walk your hands back up so you're seated nice and tall. And switch which foot is in front of the other. Good, on an inhale, sit nice and tall, arms overhead. And on an exhale, forward fold. Bring your hands out in front of you. Dropping your head down. Shaking it yes, shaking it no. Gently opening that other hip. Go ahead and walk your hands back up to a seated posture. And let's go ahead and meet on all fours. So moving any props you may have out of the way. And from all fours, we're going to stack our shoulders over our elbows, over our wrists. Hips are over hips are over knees. Good, and let's go into some organic movements here. So maybe rocking forward and back. Maybe moving your hips from side to side. Really waking up our spine a little bit. Good, rolling forward. Great, and coming back through neutral, spread your fingers nice and wide. Tuck your toes, dip your belly, and look up for cow. And exhale for cat. Rounding in towards your spine, belly in toward your navel, center. Good, on an inhale, up for cow. Tuck the toes, dip the belly, look up. Exhale for cat. Inhale back up for cow. And exhale for cat. Good, coming back through neutral, go ahead and bring your knees as wide as your mat, your toes touching, and sit back into a child's pose. We're going to do another nice little side body opener. So go ahead and from here, walk your hands over to the right side, getting a nice side body stretch on the left. Good, pay attention to your breath. See if there are any tight spots that you can release just by focusing on a deep breath. Good, walk your hands back through center and make your way over to the left side. Getting a nice side body stretch on the right. Again, deep breathing. See if there's any areas in your body that you can release any tension from. Good, walk your hands back through center and make your way back up into tabletop. You might need to readjust your knees and put them underneath your hips. Walk your left hand underneath your face And on an inhale, reach your right hand towards the sky. And on an exhale, thread the needle, coming down onto your right shoulder. You can use your left hand as leverage. Or maybe you like to spider walk those fingers forward, getting a nice stretch into the pecs. Breathing deeply in here. Again, releasing any tension. Good, bring your left hand to frame your face and inhale your right arm back up towards the sky and exhale it back down into the earth. Good, maybe adjust your right hand underneath your face. Inhale your left arm towards the sky and exhale, thread the needle coming down onto your left shoulder. Same thing with the other side, maybe use your right hand for leverage to get a little more twist. Or maybe your pec was tight and you wanted to walk those fingers forward. Do what feels right in your body. Good, deep breathing here. Releasing any tension. Good, bring your hand back to frame your face. Inhale your left arm up towards the sky. And exhale it back down into tabletop. From a neutral tabletop, go ahead and walk your right leg back. Hover it off the ground about 6 inches. And once you feel stable here, go ahead and extend that left arm out. Good, really waking up the core here. And bring your elbow in towards your knee, rounding your back. Inhale, extend. Exhale, round, elbow in towards knee. Inhale, extend. And last time, elbow into a knee. And extend. See if you can get 1 more inch out of the right side of your body and the left fingertips. And then come back to neutral tabletop. Good, from here, walk your left leg back. Hover it 6 inches off the ground. Really engage that core, make sure you're nice and stable, and then maybe extend that right arm out. Good, taking deep breaths here. Really warming up the core. And then bring elbow in toward knee, round the back. Inhale, extend. Elbow into knee, round the back. Inhale, extend. Last time, elbow to knee. And extend, hold here. See if you can get 1 more inch out of the right fingertips and the left toes. Good, and coming back through neutral tabletop. Awesome, from here we're gonna walk our fingers forward, maybe 3 to 4 inches. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Tuck your toes and hover your knees off the ground. Then lift your hips up toward the ceiling. Maybe you keep your knees bent here if your hamstrings are tight. Just gently coming into our first downward dog. Pedaling out through the feet, maybe bending one knee, then the other. Shoulders are down, away from the ears, rolling down your back. Equal pressure throughout your entire hand. And then when you're ready, come to stillness in your down dog. Taking 2 breaths here. Good, on an inhale, look between your thumbs. And on your exhale, gently walk yourself forward to the top of your mat, keeping your feet about hip width apart. Now from here, we're going to bring our hands onto our lower back and interlace our fingers, coming into a forward fold with the hands lifted off the back into a nice chest opener. If you find that you struggle with your hands clasped together, you can grab a strap or a belt or a sweatshirt arm and bring them overhead. Getting a nice inversion here. Shake your head yes, shake it no. Good. Gently release your hands to your lower back. Let them come down to the floor. Heel toe your feet to touch. And on an inhale, gently roll yourself up from the base of the spine, with your head being the last thing to come up. And then wash your shoulders down your back with your palms facing the front of your mat. Good, taking a moment here to pause and really check in with the body. We're going to go into some sun salutations. On an inhale, bring your arms overhead, palms press. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, hands on shins. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to a high plank. And let's lower our knees down to the ground. Then lower your chest down to the ground, coming all the way down. On an inhale, raise up to a baby cobra. And let's slide from side to side. Left to right, right to left. It's kind of opening up our back body. Good, coming back through center. Press yourself up to all fours. Tuck your toes, lift your knees up, and bring your hips up toward the ceiling for down dog. Fingers are spread nice and wide. Good, taking a breath here. On an inhale, look between your hands. On an exhale, travel to the top of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive up. Palms press overhead. And exhale, hands down through heart center. Good, bring your hands down by your sides. On an inhale, raise your arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, long spine. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to a high plank. Lower halfway or all the way to the ground. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, back, downward dog. Good, 3 breaths here. See if you can spread your toes wide. On an inhale, look between your thumbs. Exhale, travel to the top of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive up. Palms press. Exhale, hands down by your sides. Great, we're going to go into some more movements here. Just waking up that body. Inhale, arms overhead, palms press. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands, and this time step your left foot back, staying on the ball of that left foot. Good, looking forward, broadening across the chest, maybe getting a nice hip flexor opener on that left side. Plant your left hand down inside your right foot, and bring your right hand to your right knee, coming into a nice twist. From here, maybe you reach your right arm up towards the sky. Good, being really strong through that left leg. It's back behind you. Hug the muscles in toward the bone. Good, maybe your gaze looks up towards your right thumb. If that's okay in your neck. Great, release your right leg or right arm down to the ground. Step back to a high plank. Lower halfway or all the way to the ground. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, back, downward dog. 3 breaths here. Really spread wide through your fingers and your hands. Lift and spread the toes. Long in the side body. Inhale, look between your thumbs. Exhale, travel to the top of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive up. Palms press. Exhale, hands down through heart center. Good, going into the other side. Inhale, your arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands. This time, step your right leg back. Staying on the ball of that right foot, look forward to the front of your mat. Broaden and cross your collarbones. Good. Plant your right hand inside of your left. Bring your left hand to your left knee. And maybe you look over your left shoulder. Stay strong in that extended leg back behind you. Hug the muscles into the bone. And extend that left arm up towards the ceiling, if you did so on the other side. Maybe your gaze looks up at your left thumb. That's okay in your neck. Otherwise, look straight at the wall or whatever's in front of you. Good, one more breath here. And on an exhale, bring your left hand down to frame your foot. Step back to a high plank. Lower halfway or all the way to the ground. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, back, downward dog. 2 breaths here. Shoulders washing down your back. Good, on an inhale, raise your right leg towards the sky. Exhale, plant it between your hands. Spin that back foot down to a 45-degree angle. And then when you're feeling secure through your feet, press yourself up to a warrior one. Hands, palms are facing one another, slightly in front of your face, so you can see your arms through your peripheral vision. Feeling a nice stretch in that left hip flexor. Hips are pointing towards the front of your mat. Good, we're gonna open up the chest a little bit more. Go ahead and release your hands down by your hips. Interlace your fingers. On an inhale, look up towards the ceiling. Shoulders wash down the back. And exhale, forward fold to humble warrior. Maybe your hands come off your back, overhead. Or perhaps you needed a strap. See if you can relax your head, unclench your jaw. Good, on your next inhale, let your arms raise you back up. Release your hands from your clasp, arms overhead, warrior one. And exhale, cartwheel your hands down to frame your front foot and either go through your vinyasa or meet us in down dog. Still maintaining deep breathing. Good. On an inhale, raise your left leg towards the sky. Exhale, plant it between your hands. Spin that back foot down to a 45-degree angle. And on an inhale, raise yourself up to warrior one. Palms facing one another. Left knee is stacked over left ankle, pointing towards those middle toes. Good, release your hands back behind your back and interlace your fingers the opposite way that you first did. On an inhale, look towards the ceiling, letting those shoulders wash down your back. And exhale, forward fold, humble warrior. Release the head, shake it yes, shake it no. Release the tension in the jaw. Breathing deeply. Good, on your next inhale, let your arms help you up. Release your clasp for warrior one. Cartwheel your hands down to frame your front foot. Step back to a high plank and either go through your vinyasa or meet us in down dog. Good, building up some heat. See if you can get any more space between your ribs and your hips, lengthening that side body. Good, on an inhale, bring your right leg towards the sky. Exhale, plant it between your hands. Spin that back foot down, coming up into warrior two position. So for warrior two, your hands are reaching in opposite sides of the room. Right knee is stacked over right ankle. Gaze is over the middle fingers of that right hand. Shoulders are dropped down away from your ears. Good. You have equal pressure through that back left foot. On an inhale, reverse your front palm and reverse your warrior, keeping a nice bend into that front knee. Good, feeling a nice stretch on the right side of your body. Breathing here. And on an exhale, bring your right elbow to your right knee for extended side angle. Left arm reaches overhead. Getting a nice straight line from your left toes to your left fingertips. Good, your gaze can either be at the ground, straight out in front of you, or maybe towards the ceiling. Same, deep breathing here. Good. On an inhale, come back up to warrior two. And exhale, your hands cartwheel down to frame your front foot. Step back to a high plank. And from here, we're going to change things up a little bit. Come down onto your right elbow. And we're going to scooch over to the left side, coming into a side plank. Maybe your left arm reaches up towards the sky. Good, building up some strength here. Maybe the left foot extends off the right. Great. Bring that left hand back down, coming back up into a high plank. And we'll go into the other side. Coming down onto our left elbow, swapping our feet over so you're on the left foot. Right arm reaches up towards the ceiling, and maybe that right leg hovers off the left. Getting into our obliques. Good, right foot can meet the left, coming back onto the right side, coming back through high plank, and then lowering halfway or all the way to the ground. Inhale up dog or cobra. Exhale back, downward dog. I guess I'm a little feisty today, sorry guys. Good, on your next inhale, raise your left leg towards the ceiling. Exhale it, land it between your hands. Spin that back foot down, coming up into warrior two position. Good, warrior two, make sure your left knee is stacked over your left ankle. Gaze is over the left middle finger. Shoulders are washing down away from the ears. Building a little strength in the legs. Good, on an inhale, flip your front palm, reverse your warrior, keeping a nice bend into that left leg. And feeling a nice side stretch on the left side of your body. Good. On your next exhale, bring your left elbow to your left knee. And bring your right arm overhead for extended side angle. Feeling that nice line of energy from the right foot to the right fingertips. Breathing. an inhale, come back up to warrior two. Exhale, cartwheel your hands down to frame your front foot. Step back to a high plank. And here we're gonna do side plank again. This time lower down to your left elbow and scooch over onto the left side of your left foot. Reach your right arm towards the sky. Maybe you hover the right foot off the left. Good, bring that right foot down to meet the left. Switch over to the middle plank, coming up onto your hands, and then down onto your right elbow. And scooch over to that right side. Maybe the left arm extends towards the ceiling, and maybe that left leg hovers off the right. I know it's burning. Good job. Good, release the left leg if it's hovered. Bring the left hand down to the ground. Come back up to a high plank. Lower halfway or all the way to the ground. Inhale up dog or cobra. Exhale back, downward dog. Good job. Two breaths here. Good, on an inhale, bring your right leg towards the sky. Exhale, land it, right foot between your hands. And let's stay on the ball of that left foot. On an inhale, raise your arms overhead for a high crescent. Good, staying on the ball of that left foot. Bring your hands through heart center. Sit up nice and tall through your spine. And on an exhale, hook the left elbow outside of the right knee, coming into a nice twist. That left leg back behind you is nice and strong, giving you stability and support. Maybe you open up your wings. Notice your breath. Is it short? Mine is. Good, if your wings are expanded, go ahead and bring them back through heart center. And with control, bring yourself back up to a high crescent. Good job. Exhale your hands down to frame your front foot. Step back to a high plank. Lower halfway or all the way to the ground. Inhale up dog or cobra. Exhale back, downward dog. Good, taking a couple breaths here. Maybe lowering your heart rate a little bit. On your next inhale, raise your left leg towards the sky. Exhale, blend it between your hands. Stay on the ball of your right foot. When you feel like you have yourself nice and established, look forward toward the front of the room and inhale yourself up to a high crescent. Palms facing one another, getting a nice stretch in that right hip flexor. Good. Bring your hands through heart center and hook your right elbow to your left knee. Maybe looking over your left shoulder. And make sure that right leg is super strong behind you. The muscles hugging into the bones. Maybe if you expanded your wings on the other side, you do so here. Still deep breathing. Good, bring your hands back through heart center. With control, raise yourself back up to a high crescent. And cartwheel your hands down to frame your front foot. Step back to a high plank. Lower halfway or all the way to the ground. Inhale up dog or cobra. Exhale back, downward dog. Nice job, y'all. 2 more breaths here. Good. On an inhale, raise your right leg toward the sky. Exhale, land it between your hands. Spin that back foot down, coming up into warrior 2. Good. From warrior 2, flip your front palm, reverse your warrior. And this time straighten into that right leg, getting a reverse triangle. On an inhale, reach forward to the front of your mat. And then land your hand either on your shin, on the ground, on a block, and your left arm raises up toward the sky. Gaze can either be down at the ground, straight out in front of you, or up towards your left thumb. See if you can lower your heart rate by breathing deeply. Good. Bring your left hand to your left hip. Look down to your right foot. Bend into your right knee. Bring your right hand down to the mat or to a block. Walk your left foot in a couple feet, and then raise that left leg parallel to the ground, coming into half moon. Left hand can stay on the hip, or it can extend toward the ceiling. If you want to really challenge your balance today, maybe you bring the right hand off the ground. Whoa. Coming into heart center with your hands. Good. One more breath. With that left hand, bring it to your left hip. Bend into the right knee. Gingerly stepping yourself back up into warrior 2 position. Good. Cartwheel your hands down to frame your front foot. Step back to a high plank. Go through your vinyasa or meet us in down dog. Good. On an inhale, raise your left leg toward the sky. Exhale, land it between your hands. Spin that back foot down, coming up into warrior 2. You can use your breath to lower your heart rate. On an inhale, flip the front palm, reverse your warrior. Straighten that left leg, coming into reverse triangle. And on an inhale, lean forward to the front of the mat. Hand lands either to your shin, to the ground, or to a block. And right arm extends toward the ceiling. Seeing if you can stack your hands in line with one another. Good, nice breath here. One more breath. Bring your right hand to your right hip. Look down to your left toes. Bend into your left knee. Bring your left hand down to the mat. Take a couple steps in with that right leg. And then lift the right leg up toward parallel to the ground. Feet flexed. And maybe you raise that right arm up towards the ceiling. Coming into half moon. See if you can steady your breath. If you challenge your balance on the other side by lifting that left hand off the ground, bring your hands to heart center. You can try it here. Whoa. Good, one more breath. Bring the right hand down to your right hip, bend into that left knee. Gingerly step yourself back, raise your arms up to a warrior 2. Cartwheel your hands down to frame your front foot. Step back to a high plank. Lower halfway or all the way to the ground. Inhale up, up dog or cobra. Exhale back, downward dog. Good, on an inhale, look between your thumbs. Exhale, travel to the top of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive up. Palms press. Exhale, hands down by your sides. Taking a moment here just to feel your body. Good, from our Tadasana, we're gonna come into tree pose. So feel rooted down through all four corners of your feet. Shift your weight over into your left leg. And maybe kicks down that right foot inside your left ankle, or maybe into your calf, or to the inside of your quad. And then bring your hands through heart center. Gaze at something in front of you that's not moving. And maybe you grow your branches out. Maybe your hands come into a mudra. Good, nice and tall. One more breath. Hands back through heart center. Release that right leg down to the ground and shake it out. Good, coming back through an equal stance through both feet. Go ahead and shift your weight over into your right leg. Kickstand your left foot inside your left ankle or your right ankle, your calf, or the inside of your thigh. Hands come through heart center. Gaze at something that's not moving in front of you. Good, on an inhale, maybe you grow your branches out. Maybe you circle your wrists. Those vinyasas were hard. And maybe a slight smile comes to your mouth. Yoga's fun. Great, one more breath. Good, hands back through heart center. Release that left leg down to the ground and shake it out. And what's yoga without one eagle or two eagles? From here, go ahead and give yourself a bear hug with your right arm underneath the left, and then release your hands through the center. Bend into your hips and shift your weight over into your left leg. Bring your right leg up and over. Maybe it hooks back behind your left calf. See if you can deepen your breath here. If you like to perch your eagle, you can do so here by bringing your elbows in front of your knees. Getting a nice ringing effect. If you perched your eagle, go ahead and bring it back up through center. And then everybody release your arms and legs out, flying open. Letting that rush of blood pass. Whew. Good, deep breath in. Give yourself a bear hug. Left arm underneath right. Hands release through center. Bend into your hips, into your knees. And bring your left leg over your right. Maybe your foot hooks behind your right calf. Deep breaths. Gaze as it's something in front of you that's not moving. If you perched your eagle, you can do so here, bringing your elbows in front of your knees. Imagine you're a washcloth getting wrung out. Good, coming back up through center. Release your wings out. And let that rush of blood pass. Great. Come to the front of your mat. Toes touching, heels slightly apart. Shoulders wash down your back, palms facing the front of the mat. On an inhale, bring your arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands. Step back to a high plank. And this time, let's lower all the way down to the ground. Bring your left cheek down, looking over your right shoulder. Hands released down by your sides. Toes touching, heels wide. Getting a nice little belly shavasana. Good, bring your head back through center, forehead to the mat. Zip your legs up to your midline. Press your pubic bone down into the mat. And on an inhale, raise your legs, chest, chin, and arms off the ground. Getting a nice back bend and strengthening your backs. Good, one more breath here. And exhale, bring your right cheek down to the ground, looking over your left shoulder. Toes touching, heels wide. Maybe you rock from side to side. If that pose was challenging enough, you're welcome to go back into it. I'm going to also cue floor bow. Bring your head back through center, forehead to the mat. Bend into your knees, clasping either your feet or your ankles. Wash your shoulders down your back. And on an inhale, press into your hands with your feet. Raising your chest off the ground. Maybe bringing your thighs off the ground. Breathing deeply in here. Good, see if you can get half more inch of height. And then gently release your legs back down to the ground. Bring your arms underneath your shoulders. Press yourself back up to a child's pose. Getting a nice counter stretch to those back bends. Breathing deeply. Good, coming back up through neutral tabletop. Tuck your toes, lift your knees off the ground. Coming into down dog, hips towards the ceiling. On an inhale, raise your right leg towards the sky. Exhale, bring your right knee to your right wrist. Coming into half pigeon. Figure fours in your practice, feel free to go there. Take a glance back and make sure that your left leg is straight behind you. And if you have space between your hip and the ground, you might want to grab a pillow or blanket or block to support you. Good, on an inhale, look towards the front of the mat. Broaden across the chest. And exhale, slowly walk your hands forward. Maybe your head meets your hands or the mat or a block. Opening up into that right hip. Deep breaths here. You can either stay there, or if you'd like to get a nice little quad stretch as well, you can press yourself back up. Bend into that left leg, grab a hold of that left foot, and get a nice quad stretch into that left leg. If you can't quite reach your foot, maybe a strap would help too. One more deep breath here. Good. If you have a hold of your foot, go ahead and gently release it. Everyone else, press yourself back up so your hands are underneath your shoulders. Tuck the toes of the left foot. Lift that left knee off the ground and press yourself back up into a down dog. Doing any organic movement, you may need to release that right leg. And perhaps you need to shift any props to the other side. Good, come back through center. Pause here. And then inhale your left leg toward the sky. Exhale, bring your left knee to your left wrist. And take a glance back, see if that right leg is straight back behind you. Maybe grab any props you needed. Prop yourself up. On an inhale, look forward to the front of the room, broadening across your chest. And exhale, gently walk your hands forward. Landing your head, forehead, wherever it likes to land. Taking some deep breaths here. If you grabbed a hold of your quad on the other side, you can do so here, but gently pressing yourself up, bending into that right leg, and reaching back and grabbing that right foot. Or you can stay right where you are in half pigeon, or figure four if you're there as well. Good, on an inhale, one more inhale, and exhale, release that right foot down to the ground. Walk your hands underneath your shoulders, tuck your toes on the right foot, hover that right knee off the ground, and press yourself back up to a down dog. Maybe move any props out of the way. Release your knees down to the ground, knees wide, hips to heels, coming into child's pose. Good. Gently walk your hands toward your knees, shifting your weight over into your one side, bring your legs out in front of you. Good, bending into your knees, grabbing back behind your hamstrings. Let's hover our legs off the ground, parallel to the ground, coming into boat pose. Maybe this is challenging enough, or maybe you want to extend your arms out. Maybe you want to extend your legs towards the ceiling. And we're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, and gently, slowly release everything down to the ground. Awesome. Taking a moment here. Good, bend into your feet. Bring them towards your hips. We're going to come into bridge pose. Good, when your feet are about hip width apart, they're maybe a little further than what you can reach with your fingertips. It's preference of each person. Good, press down through your feet and lift your hips up toward the ceiling, coming into bridge. Knees are parallel with one another. Maybe you clasp your hands back behind your sacrum and roll into that upper part of your arm. Good, gaze is looking directly toward the ceiling. Good, one more breath here. Press, press, press those hips up toward the ceiling. And then if your hands are clasped, go ahead and release them underneath your back and gently roll yourself down with your butt being the last thing to land onto the ground. Good, hug your knees in toward your chest. And rock from side to side. Release your left leg long, right knee towards right armpit. Extend your right arm to a T or a cactus arm. And using your left arm to support you, guide your right knee across your body, coming into a nice supine twist. Maybe your gaze looks over your right shoulder. How's that breathing? Good, on an inhale, come back through center. Hug both knees in towards your chest. And release your right leg long. Left knee towards left armpit. Left arm out to a T or a cactus. And right hand guides your left knee across your body. And maybe your gaze looks over your left shoulder. Palm can either be toward the ceiling or toward the floor on that left hand, whatever is comfortable for you. See if maybe with each breath, if you can relax a little bit more, somewhere that's holding tension. Good, on your next inhale, bring your both knees back in towards center. And let's come into happy baby. Bring your hands on the inside of your knees, grasping the outside of your feet. And maybe rocking from side to side, getting a nice inversion. And releasing any other tension you may have in your body before we would prepare for Shavasana. Good, hug your knees back in toward your chest. Give yourself a nice, super duper good hug. Squeeze your face, scrunch it up. And gently release your head down to the ground. Release your legs out. Let them flop open. Let your hands be away from your sides. Close your eyes. And welcome yourself into Shavasana. Gently welcome the breath back into your body. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes. On an inhale, give yourself a awakening stretch. And bend into your knees. Gently coming over onto your side. Using your arm as support for your head. Pause here for a moment. Then using your hands to support you behind closed eyes, press yourself up into a seated posture. hands through heart center. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. Thank you for spending your Friday with me, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. We bow to each other, acknowledging the light in all of us as we say namaste. Thanks, guys. How was that? Good.
Definitely a little sore.
You're welcome. Awesome. Well, have a great weekend. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Sweet.